Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Shireen from UMNO. Thank you, Tian Chua, for being here. My question would be, touched on gerrymandering earlier on. I was wondering if there are any plans in place to sort of reduce the likelihood of, reduce the likelihood of the ruling party manipulating the electoral systems for the next general election to come.
Okay. All right. Do you have a few questions?
I think we'll go straight ahead. Yeah.
Okay. It's a good question. I think we all dream for ideal electoral systems. Yes, I mean, we try our best, and I think we have to work with the civil societies to highlight this and to put pressure. I mean, that's quite general. But as far as me in my position as a position is concerned, this is same for everybody. As opposition, as challengers, we have to win in spite of inequality, in spite of no leveling playing field. We cannot go out and shout there is no level playing field in this game. It is the same. I mean, I'm not saying Malaysia should shout louder than others, because it's the same. If you are an activist in a dictatorial regime in Venezuela, that's the same thing. If you are an activist, trade union activist in Zimbabwe, you have to face that. So for me, yes, gerrymandering, unfair election system, money politics is our concern. But our greater concern is how do you perfect your skill, how do you enhance your capacities so that you win in spite of it.
Thank you.
I'm not sure I answered the questions.
Ross.
So this is related. I mean, you did mention before about not winning the election isn't so important. What we need is honest, sincere, truthful dialogue for nation building. So are you sort of recognising that as an opposition you're now weaker in 2016 than you were in the lead up to 2013? And so really, this is bad news for progressives in Malaysia. The opposition is as weak, and people shouldn't expect you to win these.
Yeah, okay. It's bad news and not that bad news. I don't think the people shifted their position. Is that the only thing is the opposition is fragmented. I'll just give you an example. The recent two by-elections in Kuala Kangsar, which is in Perak, and one in the States, in the central Selangor, in Sungai Besar. These two by-elections show, I will just illustrate the results that we got. In the last general elections, the opposition polled about 48% of the popular votes, and the opposition represented by the Islamic Party, PAS, lost by 390 votes, something along that line. It was very, very close margin, right? Because opposition broke down, we were unable to agree that there's only one candidate challenging the ruling parties. We have the splinter of PAS, Amanah. It's a self-brand, more liberal of the Islamic Party. Insists of they will challenge the Islamic Party in the by-election. So they took the seats. And let me just break it into the ethnic support, because that reflects a little bit of how it is. Amanah polled about 8% of the Malay votes, which is a 70% Malay ruler constituency. Only 8% of the Malay votes went to Amanah, and PAS took about 30%. Right? So it sounds like bad news, but the good news is, in fact, last general election, PAS candidate which represent the opposition back polled about 38% of the Malay votes. So it just tells us that, in fact, there was no shift back to the ruling party. It's merely that the party loyalties come in now. It is no longer this unities that I will vote for your candidate, you vote for my candidate. So everyone go back to their own sectarian candidates. And what made it such a big margins is that the Chinese voters, which constitute about 30%, and in the ruler constituency, last elections, the opposition's Islamic Party got about 75% of the Chinese support. But this round, the Islamic Party got less than 3% of the Chinese support, and the new Amanah got 55% of the Chinese support. Where did the rest go? They decided that, let's be very practical, the opposition is not going to win. The business groups want to get some immediate benefits. They were also fishermen, they were also fishing folks, and they also paddy farmers. And among the Chinese community, they decided to bargain with the ruling party that resolve some of the issues like irrigation, resolve the fishing permit, resolve the issues about the net size control, and some security issues. So these groups of people swing back to support the government, not because they love the government, because they just think that since the opposition is hopeless, let's try to get something. That's what democracy is about, right? The voters are not going to worry about the politician problem. Their problems come first. Election is about solving their problem. So if there is no big pictures of hope, there is no overall opportunity of changing for the better, we might as well get something immediate. And that's the same thing, I think, why money politics work. Money politics also work because when there's no hope, right? I might as well pick up my 50 ringgits or 100 ringgits and it will help me to pay some bill rather than voting for a situation that really doesn't bring out change. And to express political stand is not the voters' business. The voters are not interested in that. They hope to get something. So I want to my conclusion is that if we reconsolidate, I think the votes will come back. The question now is that how do we convince the leaders to come back together?
Next question.
Towards the end of your speech, you referred to the changes in the countries in the region of Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines. And you seem to infer that there might be hope that there will be something similar in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that there's talk about the Persei 5 emerging and the opposition supporting it. This has happened in the context of one, the passing of the National Security Act, which is rather ominous. Secondly, the report that the police had thwarted an IS bombing of targeting of senior officers.
Yeah.
And thirdly, the threat of the Red Guards to any birthday rally. It seems to me that from looking from afar, the pieces are being set in place for a likelihood of an emergency government. What is your view on that?
Okay. I cannot live inside the head of Najib to know what he's thinking. I mean, I can be extremely suspicious, and people will say that's coming from my bias. I mean, we do not rule out there is a possibility of the authority use the security threats, either a possible terrorist attack or uncovering of some terrorist cell, and or an outbreak of inter-religious skirmish or conflict to invoke security's measure. And last year, we were battering this National Security Council bill, which empowered the government to declare emergency in a certain zone, but not nationwide, but a certain zone. And that bill didn't get the royal consent because I think the ruler council were a bit uneasy over the possible powers that in the hand of the administration. But we have a situation where you do not need the king to sign it. The law will become a law after 60 days. So that law will be the law and will be gazetted. And that means that the Prime Minister, when he sees fit, he could declare emergency for a certain zone. I mean, not nationwide, but the zone, how big is the zone is not defined. It can be one state, it can be a few states, it can be one town, it can be just one building. So that's very undefined. I agree, I mean, that is a possibility. But any form of political crackdown, ironically, and then sometimes in a very cynical way, it must also get public support. The triggering point must be believable to the public. I mean, we see the recent one, there is a coup attempting to unseat a civilian government in Turkey, and that allowed authoritarian-oriented presidents to use this to do that, and at least for the time being, it enjoys some sort of public support, public consent. I'm not sure if Najib invoked that, he will get that type of support. I mean, I have to be very careful because I cannot predict what type of incidents it will happen, but I'm just, that's why I said we have to be very careful. We hope that it is not something to do with inter-ethnic clash or inter-ethnic tension, because if that happened, it will take us a lot more effort to repair. But I'm perpetually optimistic, and I believe that Malaysian society, they are mature and they can see through it, and I think even things like this happen, we will be able to consolidate and to resist and object to such authoritarian measure.
First, John in front. Yeah. John first, and then.
Thanks. You've expressed the hope that the opposition can work together and cooperate. Everybody had that hope, I think, before the Sarawak elections, and it didn't happen. They had the hope before the by-elections, and it didn't happen. How is it going to happen? In particular, how is PAS going to be part of this? We have a leader who is more loyal to the Prime Minister than in most of his coalition partners at the moment, in Hadi. And can the situation where you have a government in Selangor in which the PAS is part of the administration continue on without perpetuating the sorts of divisions within the opposition that have been caused by PAS's move to a much more extreme conservative position since the death of Nik Aziz?
Yeah, I think Sarawak, and then after that, Sungai Besar, all these results show one thing, that